Here is the fourth way to start building confidence with women when you have little experience is you need to study. And you need to study specifically indicators of interest. For those of you that do not know what that is, an indicator of interest is a signal that a woman will oftentimes give that is a tell that she's starting to build interest. Most guys, if they're in their head or have a history of not being great with women, like I did back in my 20s, you start to ignore and not even see signals that women are actually throwing at you, that if you were able to better pay attention, you'd recognize that they're interested, all right? I'll give you an example. Like in my days now, right, when I'm talking to women, where I'm at my job or I'm just out and about or I'm going to a lot of events these days, so I see women, I can tell like a turn in their face, like the way they're looking at me and the way that their face is positioned. If there's a point in the conversation where if she's feeling me, her face changes to that face of like, I'm listening to you, to like, oh crap, I'm interested in you, to, hey, I think that this guy's interesting. Okay. I'll give you an example, right? So I filmed an event recently. And again, I filmed an event recently, and at the end of the event, I had to get testimonials from people, right? So this one woman comes out and she gives me a testimony about the great time that she had at this event, right? And so we filmed the thing. I'm like, okay, great. And then I'm still staying there because I'm waiting for other people to come out to be able to give me testimonials. And so she comes over and steps right here because I think she was trying to cool off from like it was quite the workout. It was a workout thing, so she was still trying to wipe down and cool off for like that. And so I'm sitting there, and we just start talking banter, and then I don't know. At some point in the conversation, like she mentioned like the job that she did, and I mentioned that I'm out here also doing my thing, filming stuff or whatever. And then like sure enough, I saw the face change. I was like, huh. And it's that change where it's like, if I wanted to take this further, I know she'd be down for it. If I wanted to ask for her number, if I wanted to ask her on a date, if I wanted to try to say, hey, what are you doing later on tonight? I'd like to meet up with you, whatever like that. This would be that moment. And then here's another thing, right? Actions. So then I just mentioned, man, like that was such a workout because I was filming it, but also working out as part of this thing. I was like, man, I wish I had brought some water because like I drank a bunch of water before I got there, but stupidly, I didn't think to bring a water bottle. So whatever. Now, the place we're at has water bottles inside the building. I could go in there right now and buy a bottle of water. But what happened instead? This woman goes, hey, you know what? I happen to bring 2 bottles of water. I can walk all the way back to my car and get that bottle and then bring it back if you'd like. And I was like, sure, if you want to, totally fine. And this woman walked all the way back to her car and came back and gave me a bottle of water. Now, again, 41, I recognize all these actions indicate, oh, she's interested. Like, even if it's like, it ain't got to be like, I got to know she's head over heels, this and that. Just those small actions that she did, because I'm recognizing she was about to leave. So the fact that she walked to her car, came back, gave me a bottle of water, stood there for a little bit, and then walked back to her car, that was like, the next move is mine to make. Am I going to try to say, appreciate the water? Let me get your number, yada, yada, yada. So again, but this goes back to, I recognize all the things she was doing that were indicators that she was potentially interested in me. Now, it doesn't have to be at a high level. Like, we're not trying to say that she's fallen in love, but it's like you want to look at those early signs, which should say to you, this woman is giving you an opening to explore a connection further. All right. And if you're not aware of something simple as like, oh, like, because there are plenty of guys that write me say like, oh yeah, well, she did this thing, or I can't tell if she likes me, but she made me this meal the other night, and it was just like I had a really good time cooking that meal, and then just kind of stood there, and I didn't do anything, so then she left. And I'm like, dude, that was a sign. She brought resources that you didn't pay for. She made you a dynamite meal, let you keep the leftovers, and then like stood there all googly-eyed. These are all signs. But if you aren't aware of what those signs even are, then you're going to walk out in this world and just think that women just don't like you, which is going to kill your confidence because you're not observing, oh, wait, women are doing or saying certain things or having body motions that really do indicate that if given the chance, she'd be open to exploring a further connection. And that's all you're looking for. All an indicator of interest is a woman saying, I'm available to explore this connection further to see where it goes, right? So what you need to be doing as a guy is to start studying up on actions that women do that will give them away. I'm telling you, because this thing is that when a woman is starting to build attraction for you or is trying to put out there that she's interested enough to be able to explore a connection, there is nothing about her for the most part, for normal, sane women that have a good head on their shoulders and are like, sexually active and want to like do stuff, they cannot help but do those actions. It's involuntary. If you're sitting there and you're talking to a woman, I'm gonna slow down now. And you're talking to her in that voice. It's like, hey, what's going on, Ma? What's this and that? And she moves her fingers back like this and moves the hair. She didn't try to plan that out. She wasn't like, okay, he's talking in a low, smooth voice, so I'm now going to like move my hair back, which indicates that I like him. No, this is all involuntary, natural movements that they just feel when they're interested. So if you know what that looks like, then you'll recognize that women are regularly probably doing stuff around you that would give them away if only you knew what those are. And you need to know them because then it takes the guesswork away. And when there's less guesswork for you, you're going to start to realize, oh crap, like women actually like me. And here's the thing too, nothing about dating, honestly, should be a surprise to you. Nothing about the way in which women move should be a surprise to you. You should be able to take all the guesswork altogether outside of women, because when you know how they function, if you know why they think about things the way that they think about things, then you'll start to observe things about them that's giving them away. And that'll make you realize, oh crap, women like me. And that in itself will build confidence. Like you're in a group of women and you see them all staring at you a certain way, moving their hair back a certain way, or, doing a gentle touch around you a certain way, or trying to give you an extra long hug a certain way. Or, they're saying things you like, I hope I see you later. Like these are all things that if you are observant and you know them, you'll be real confident real quick, because you'll start to realize women around me are showing me signals that they like me. I just got to know if I want to pull the trigger or not. All right. And what you'll find is that many women that you didn't think were interested in you actually are, based on their movements. So some of you right now have a female friend that would legitimately date you and is actually actively showing you subtle signs that she's hoping you're going to get. Because again, women are typically subtle and passive. So they don't do like the biggest things in the world, like, hey, I like you, come sleep with me. But they're giving you these subtle signs that indicate that they just want a shot. And because women get afraid too. I know as men, we get worried about, we're in the friend zone. We don't want to ruin things. What if she doesn't like us? Well, women have those thoughts too about you, about like, we've been friends for so long. And I know I wasn't trying to date him initially, but I realized I really, really like him. And now I don't know, what to do, what to say. And even with those women, they're still giving these subtle hints that they hope you're going to catch on to. All right. So as you learn indicators of interest, it'll become easier to recognize when women like you. You'll start to see how many women actually would be open to you asking them out, and that'll help to build your confidence. So learn those indicators of interest, okay?
You need to call her on her cell phone when you want to ask her out. Don't text her from your cell phone.